Now, the Delft community wants answers. Police are searching for the criminal who shot and killed a young pregnant woman on Saturday night. It's believed the woman was a target after witnessing her boyfriend's recent murder. The Delft Community Policing Forum Public Relations Officer, Charles George, joins me now live. Charles, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So first, tell us more about this incident.
Good evening to you, Shahan, and your listeners. So yes, currently in Delft, we are facing very dark and difficult times. And if you look at this incident that occurred over the weekend, it clearly shows you the mindset of these criminal elements operating in Delft. And it's alleged that the girl that you're referring to, she was 8 months pregnant, and she witnessed a few weeks ago the killing of a boyfriend. And after she witnessed it, she became a state witness in the case. And obviously, she was then taken out on Saturday.
And of course, crime in the area is something we hear about quite often. It seems like these criminals don't even fear the police, because there were a couple of Cape Town police officers who were shot at just recently on Sunday while trying to make arrests.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, Shahan. If you look at the types of crime happening in our community, it clearly speaks about the mindset of these guys. But remember, what we're facing is not cast in stone. We need to, and we're trying to mobilize the community. We need a combined community response to what's happening in Delft. These criminals are operating without fear, and I think as law-abiding citizens, we want to combine our efforts, and we want to stand up against this, because at the moment, if you look at Delft in general, Delft is overpopulated, and because it's overpopulated, the police, law enforcement agencies can't always be at these different spots, hot spots, what we call them, to respond to these things. So we as a community, we tired of being traumatized by the senseless killings. As a community, we're wanting to mobilize more of our neighborhood watchers to get more and more involved. We're wanting ordinary citizens to get more and more involved. And obviously, Shahan, we need to look at how do we address crime in the 21st century with 21st century tools. And I think this is where we're getting it, this is where we're falling short, because we need to look at how do we start to address these issues. As I said earlier, the community themselves, people are traumatized. It's the norm for gunshots to go off all the time. We cannot live, work, and operate in these type of conditions. And so it's important for us that we as a community start to mobilize together, start to back up our law enforcement agencies, start to look at technology. As I said earlier, we need to rely on technology as a tool within the 21st century of how we can address these criminals operating in Delft.
And that's why you're calling for additional police resources, I'm guessing. When you talk about police technology, what exactly do you want in the area?
So first of all, Shahan, if you look at Delft overall, we want to use technology in the form of CCTV cameras. We even did a pilot where we flew a drone over our area. We don't want to give away too much over the air, but we're working on a plan, and we just want government and other stakeholders to come and sit around the table with us. Let the residents take ownership and responsibility of the area, and government should just support it. But as I was saying, you cannot win any war if you don't have an eye in the sky. And currently, Delft is like a war zone. These criminals, especially young men, are walking around, running around with firearms, and they're not. It's exposed. It's not like they're hiding it, and it's fully exposed. And as you rightfully said, they even shot at law enforcement agencies. So we can't allow this to go on, because at the moment, this is not the environment we want our young people to grow up in, because these youngsters are looking also at these criminals and thinking, this looks cool, but they don't understand the reality of the seriousness around the situation.
it points to policing being an issue in the area as well. I know that you're part of the Community Policing Forum, but is enough being done? Is there enough visibility? Are investigations happening adequately?
Shahan, again, like I said earlier, when you look at Delft, currently Delft is 12 square kilometers. Delft has grown in leaps and bounds in the sense of other infrastructures being built. We had more schools built, we had clinics built, we had more houses built, but we only have one police station in the entire area. So if you do the ratio, yes, we're dealing with police that's not doing their jobs as such, but we can't keep on blaming the police when we have land invasions happening. And when the land invasions are happening, the police can do what they can, but there's other role players that also need to come to the table. So when you look at the infrastructure in Delft, as I said, Delft has grown overnight. If you come to Delft now, you won't even recognize Delft. But we still only have one police station in the community. We're asking government, we're asking national government, listen to the cry of the people on the ground. The people on the ground they know exactly what's needed in our community, and they should be supported. If we want our people to take ownership and responsibility and to bring the crime down in Delft, then listen to the people on the ground. People are fed up. As I said, we are traumatized. It seems like we don't have a plan for these criminal acts happening, but we need to get together, sit around the table, and then say, let's execute on the plan that the residents are coming up with as well.
And what about provincial authorities as well as national? We've seen the police minister in there trying to deal with taxi violence. Have you raised any of these issues just beyond the community and the province?
So, Shahan, yes, we as a CPF, we get together within our community, then we get together within our cluster, and these type of discussions has been happening. And remember, we're not only just dealing with crime in our area, we're dealing with a pandemic, we're dealing with unemployment, we're dealing with a lot of starvation happening, with with kiddies roaming the streets looking for food. So it's quite difficult to only look at one sector and say, can you help and assist us? It has to be a combined effort where we come together and say, how do we work together to fix?
All right, thank you so much for your time. Charles George is the Public Relations Officer for the Delft Community Policing Forum.